Hello, everybody. I am so very excited to introduce my next guest, Mahisha. First of all, the reason I'm really excited is Mahisha and I have a little connection with our desire and love for food. I have been trained as a personal and private chef, went to culinary school, have just enjoyed food so much. I have 1,000,001 cookbooks and just, watch the cooking channel in my spare time. And so when I first got the pleasure of being introduced to Mahisha and learning about her passion for food and the fact that she has created an absolutely gorgeous cookbook, I could not wait to bring this interview to you. So this is such a great story for all women business owners, especially those of you that also have that creative side to you, and maybe even a deep love for food and eating and all the good things. So without further ado, I will pass over the camera now. And Mahisha, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us about your business, your background, your passion, your big why. And also in the beginning, I always like for you to please offer your website where people can find you directly. So I'll go ahead and let you share some of your backstory, and you will all enjoy this interview. It's going to be wonderful. By the way, this is the beautiful book. Okay, it is gorgeous. I have tried a couple of the recipes already. Absolutely fabulous. But she will tell you more about that in a few minutes. So over to you now.
Hi, Tamara. Hi, everyone. So very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, my name is Mahisha Rice, and back in 2019, when lockdown happened, things kind of changed for me, I think, like it did for most of us. And I was in a full-time job, and also obviously homeschooling my then probably 7-year-old. I also had a toddler running around, and it was very manic, crazy, and still working from home. And something clicked, and I just thought I wasn't very happy where I was working 9 to 5, and the stress of it all just added. And I thought, I think it's time now that I really, look into doing my own thing. And started thinking a little bit, and I've always, been very, very fond of cooking and sharing my experience and my spices and all of that with my friends and family. And I love, socializing, hosting, and having people around. And this kind of came to me. And so I started looking, and just to give a bit more background before that, I'm originally from Sri Lanka. This is where I was born. I left Sri Lanka when I was 8 years old. I grew up in France, and now I live in the UK. It's been about 20 years that I'm here, but the background of Sri Lanka has never left me. I've always been very fond of my country. I visit there every couple of years. I still have family there. And so Sri Lankan cooking has always been in my life growing up from a child to today. So this is where obviously my passion for Sri Lankan food came. And then I started looking into spices and things while I was doing my research during lockdown. And lucky enough, I came across this couple in Sri Lanka who also, works with spices and help people export them, things like this. And we connected through lockdown, and I thought this must be a sign. Things just kind of got together at the right time. So that's how the whole thing started. Rice's Bliss, my company. So the website is ricesbliss.com. And I created this beautiful online spice shop where I sell organic. These are my packaging, just to give you a little overview. But these are, they're all on my spice shop, and I've got a collection of curry blends and spices like turmeric, chili powder, and cinnamon, things like this that I sell. They're all organic, they're gluten-free, also obviously vegetarian and vegan friendly. The most exciting thing, I think, a couple of months ago, I launched these curry kits. So at the moment, I've got 3 of them: a chicken curry, dal curry, and a jackfruit curry. But the good thing about these is that everything is ready, measured, all the spices are mixed together. And when you open them, you have in there this card, which has a list of shopping for you to do, maybe things that you already have in your cupboard. And then obviously you've got the spice kit in there with step-by-step to follow. And this is the spices that's in there, including the curry leaves and everything that people normally struggle to kind of find. So everything is in there. All you need to do is cut your fresh ingredients, pour the spices, and you've got an amazing curry. But if you buy these spices, you know, you have to kind of measure it, and some people don't like that. And my goal really is to show people that cooking from scratch is not that hard. People seem to think, especially curries, you know, most recipe books these days come with hundreds of ingredients, and then you have to kind of store in your cupboards, and then you never use them. Rather than doing that, everything here is in the pack, and you pour that and you've got a beautiful curry. But you mentioned my book, so I'll quickly show that too. I've got the one you've got is the hardcover. This is the soft cover. Yes, beautiful. And they are available on Amazon all over the world. And again, these recipes only have very few ingredients, so I'm trying to make them as easy and simple, like, you know, the title says. But and all the ingredients can be bought in most supermarkets. The curry blends, obviously Sri Lankan curry blends, you can't find them all over the world yet, unfortunately, but they're all available on my website. And yeah, the recipes are very, very simple, very easy to follow. And I just want to show everyone that cooking from scratch, healthy, organic, natural meals are really easy and simple, and you just need to give it a go. So yeah, that's a bit.
I love this. And I love the fact also that I think we all appreciate supporting the local artisans, local farmers, the local shops, and so forth. And what you're doing by offering these beautiful spices from your home country is you're also helping other business owners. So it's sort of that whole pay it forward possibility. And it's great for the consumer because they get these unique spices. Like you said, you can find the spices pretty much everywhere, but not specifically from your home country. And I think that this is just lovely. And you're absolutely correct. Sometimes we look at the recipes in certain, you know, cookbooks or whatever, and they're a laundry list long, and they're a wonderful recipe. However, by the time you purchase everything and maybe you use it once or twice and then it expires, it does sort of make you feel like, oh, bummer, that expired and I didn't use it all. And I like the idea of the packets because in the end, they're probably very much more friendly to your budget because it's specific to the recipe. You use it, it's taken care of. And when you're ready to make it again, you can just go ahead on your website and order another package. And I love that concept if it's a type of recipe that you're not doing so often, but you really want to try. And then the other thing I love that you said is that for many business owners, this unfortunate time with COVID, this pause that we all had, for many, it really did become that whole reset and pivot moment. And there was a lot of businesses born in this time or changed, and it really has changed the fabric. And I love that you took that time to connect with yourself and get a real sense for what was missing, and, you know, have this conversation with yourself and feel it out and then put it together. And one thing that you did say that I truly appreciate is you said it was everything sort of lined up where you met this couple and that it was like from the universe. And I absolutely believe that, because I believe once you have a dream in your heart, it is there because it's meant to come to fruition. It's not just there for fun or to play with your emotions and never happen. If it's really meant to be, it will happen and the things will line up. The timing sometimes is different, you know, when it shows up or maybe even how it shows up. But in almost every case of every person that I've ever talked to, when there is that desire for that dream, it happens. And this is one of the messages that I would like all you women to, again, hear it with Mahisha's story. She's saying it too. She had the dream, she had the feeling, and then things started to come to her and it started to develop out. So if you are having a new dream, if you're in the middle of your dream, just trust the process. You wouldn't have the dream if it wasn't meant to happen. So just wanted to point that out. And I love your story. I love your story and the ability to find your creative voice and put it together. And so what I'd like to do is ask you a little bit more about your business with some great questions coming up. So let's see. If you could only choose one answer, what is the number way that building your business has enriched your life? And why would you encourage other women to pursue building their own businesses as a form of self-discovery and especially self-empowerment?
Okay. So can you repeat the first bit of the question? Sorry.
Absolutely. If you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life? And then why would you encourage other women to do it?
Yes, definitely. So for me, I think the first bit that I explained around lockdown and how stressful things got for me is the main thing. My family is everything to me. I have 2 children. My daughter is now 9 and my son is 4.5, starting school in September. So for me, spending time with them and having my freedom around that is probably my number one priority. And most of us working full-time 9 to 5, unfortunately, takes a lot of that time away. So my kids are only at school until 3 o'clock. I pick them up at 3 and then we come home, it's about 3:30. And after that, I have to go back to work and, and they're kind of left to get on with their lives. And I found that very, very sad. So I wanted to find something where I can work my own hours and be more available as a mother to my children. So that's basically how things changed. I try, I try, if it is a business and it takes a lot of my time, I'm not saying, it's just, I'm not there yet anyway, where I can just let things happen in the background and I can just sit and enjoy my life all the time. But the good thing is that, yes, it is stressful sometimes and it does get hard, but it's also my passion. So I do it without feeling like it's a chore. So when I am stressed, I just remind myself, this is what I want to do. There's also so much good in there. And most of it is the fact that I can spend as much time as I want with my children. So that's probably the number one thing. And how it changed is that now I can, have as much time as I want to spend with my children and do things at home. Also, I like to spend a lot of time on my mental health, on my growth. So I take a lot of time to do things like that, even just simply reading a book or sitting down and meditating for a little bit. And, all this stuff that I do on myself, I didn't have the time to do it when I was constantly working 9 to 5. And 9 to 5 doesn't actually mean 9 to 5. And I remember some days where I will never switch off or I put the kids to bed and then I'll come back. And then I'll switch my laptop back on. And I think I've been also working from home for quite a long time. And I think people are like, oh, you're working from home. How lucky are you? Yes, I am lucky. There's a lot of good things around that. But also the fact that when you work from home, you don't always switch off. It's not like you close the door and you walk out because your laptop and everything's at home. You are constantly, attracted to it and you keep working. And I just wanted to have the right balance in my life. And I think doing what I do is probably the best way to do it. And to anyone else who want to, if you have this dream in your head and if you want more freedom and if you want your independence and you have an idea, which is maybe just the tiny little thing in your head at the moment, explore it, go for it, go get your dreams, because what's the worst that can happen? That it doesn't work out? Fine, you'll have another idea, but at least you would have tried and you have no regrets because you would have given it your best. And if I could change anything with the business, is the fact that I didn't start any sooner, that I didn't believe in me any sooner. Because even now I know that, you know, my business is not exactly where I want it to be. I want it to grow and I have other plans. But if I didn't try, you know, I wouldn't be here today. I'll still be working 9 to 5 and not following my passion or my dream. So please, 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 if you have any kind of little thing in your head that you want to give it a go, please do.
I love that. And it's true. It's, if you don't take a chance on your own dream, you sort of get stuck building somebody else's dream. And, you know, that's fine. Sometimes there's a time and a place for that. And sometimes it can be the whole journey for some people. But if there is a calling in you that's saying, no, I'm meant to do something different, I'm not meant to do it in that other type of venue, then yes, pursue it. So you don't have any regrets, like you said. And, you know, what's the worst that can happen? You know, you'll know more about you, and most likely you're going to find your success, because if it's really in your heart, it's just a matter of time and your, you know, your dedication to your dream. And I think that is how your dreams come true. Just focus on them, put some work into them, and it'll come together. So okay, so the next question, we'll do a little bit of a speed round now. So these are some great questions. It's sort of like first thing that comes to mind type of thing. So the first question is, how does your business look different now versus when you first started?
Well, when I first started it, I had no idea where I was going. I just wanted to put, you know, things into practice and give it a go. But when I first started, the first thing I did was to create my website. Most of it I did it myself because I didn't start my business with a huge budget. I think that's something else that I should answer for the previous question, really, is that don't wait until you have loads of money to invest in it, because I definitely didn't. I just did as much as I can with myself. My husband helped, and I created this website. Just, you know, invested some money in buying a bit of stock, obviously, to get my spices. And then just started talking to people around me, my friends, my family. I joined loads of local Facebook groups, you know, where you can just post things and sell and advertise your spices. And yeah, and then I started having a couple of customers here and there, and sometimes it was friends, but then they'll talk to their friends, and you know, it'll just go around that way. And now I have come more, obviously I'm a lot more available, I think, online. When people search for spices, luckily my name comes up a lot more on Google, and publishing my book helped a lot, because people that are aware of Sri Lankan cooking or that have already tried it, they go and search for Sri Lankan things and my book comes up. And then they obviously buy the book, and then they find out about my spices, and then they come. So I've got different ways now where people find my name. So it's not just people that I'm connected to directly. So yeah, so I think I'm just slowly, with different things that I've tried, like the book, like more advertising online. These are all free things, by the way. I'm not spending a fortune advertising and marketing my products, but there are so many ways now. I think social media is the biggest thing. Instagram, Facebook, where yeah, I keep doing the things that I did at the beginning, but I add to that, and doing the book, I think, really helped me. So that's where I am now. But my goal now next is to kind of get into shops and farm shops and maybe even restaurants, and trying to sell my spices in bulk so we can save on packaging, and you know, trying to be even more green, I should say, and yeah, and spend less
I
money.
love this vision. This is a great vision. Excellent. And you will get there, obviously. It's just a matter of time, right? So actually, before you can go on to the next question, there were two things that you just said that I think our audience would love to hear. One, you had to be visible. You had to show your face. You had to get in front of people. Did you have, in the beginning, a little difficulty overcoming a little shyness, or, you know, sometimes we're self-critical? And if so, how did you switch into that confidence where you're just like no, it's not a problem now. Because a lot of women do struggle with this. And
Yeah.
I always like to get some tips from those, because I think we're all there initially. We're all like a little bit panicked about the idea of being visible.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, I haven't got over that. I'm still very, I'm still very much there. Even doing this interview, I felt so nervous. And every time I want to pick up the phone, or I want to walk into a shop or anywhere and talk to someone about my spices, I get very nervous and I think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What if they say no? But if they say no, they say no. Well, how am I going to, if I don't ask, I will never get yes either. So I really, I don't know if you follow Mel Robbins at all, but she has some amazing books, and she's someone that I've been following for quite a while. And she's got this 5-second rule that she talks about a lot. Yes. And so I follow little things that I learned like that. And the 5-second rule is basically, when you want to do something, do it within that 5 seconds, because if you start thinking, analyzing, and listening to that little voice in your head, you will not do it, or you will cancel it, or you will change it, you will try to postpone it. So this is what I'm trying to do now, is anything like that I get an idea and I think, oh, this is great, I have to do it, I try straight away pick up the phone or leave my house and go to that shop. I know it's not always possible, life obviously happens, but whenever I can, I try to do it as quickly as I can within those few seconds, so that I don't change my mind or scarcity stops me.
I love this. I love Mel Robbins, and that 5-second rule. It's really a winner. It's sort of the feel the fear and do it anyway. But this just creates, it's like, okay, I can do anything for 5 seconds, right? So 5-second rule. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, you mentioned doing the things that you originally started doing, Instagram, Facebook. However, sometimes when someone is brand new, this becomes overwhelming because there's so many options. What do I choose? How did you decide what your avenues were going to be without the overwhelm? Or did you get into some overwhelm, and then how did you fix it? Because this is also a thing that comes up for a lot of brand new business owners.
Overwhelm, I think, is something that will happen a lot when you want to launch your business, or even just starting to have ideas. Because I remember literally thinking, oh, if I do this, I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. And then there's so much going, which is great, because yes, you are creative and you're obviously full of passion, and that's why all of these are coming into your head. But then I'm like, where do I start? What do I do? And then you start getting into this overwhelm and almost panicking that, it might not work out, or you want to do everything at once. So I remember, even back then, before I started the company, or when I created the website and then started kind of slowly marketing it, I just, simple as that, I just got a notebook out and I wrote down all my ideas. I am also into journaling, so I like writing a lot anyway. But I got my book out and I just wrote all these ideas that comes. And I remember sometimes I was waking up in the middle of the night and I had these ideas or something that was exciting me. So I just write it down. I had a notebook on my bedside table and I was just writing things down. And then when I felt a little overwhelmed and all these things kind of just settled, I went back to that list and I went through pros and cons. What will be the priorities? What can I do later? What do I have the budget for now? Why don't I? Or what can I do later when I start making some money, or, things like that. And then I just simply prioritize. And with social media, it was so simple for me. I just said, I'm going to do anything that I can find that's free, because that's not where I wanted the budget to go in. So joining things like groups and doing, posts on Instagram or stories or going live and just showing my face a little bit, which again, I wasn't comfortable with, but I thought it was the best thing to do at the moment. So anything like that was free. And that was easy for me to do from home without having to invest a lot of money into even buying gadgets and things. I just did that. So
did you find one? Yeah. Did you find like one of the things that you started with, one of the tools, better than another? Like, which, if you had to choose just one, which one served you best in the beginning? Was it Facebook? Was it Instagram? Was it private groups?
So there's a couple of things here. Both platforms are good for different things. I think like Facebook is good for things like joining free groups, local groups especially. And I mean, local doesn't have to be just your little town, but like the county, you can think a little bit bigger. And now I go all over England, but you can just join these groups and then post, introduce yourself, show your products. Not go and spam there because people hate that too. But, you know, once a week, maybe twice a week, just show your products and talk about them and introduce them, but not just trying to sell. I think the main point here is that you show people how you can genuinely help them. And I think that's very important. Like with my book, yes, of course, I want to sell my book, but I'm not trying to say, buy my book, buy my book. I'm trying to show you that this book can really help you if you hate cooking, if you want to get into cooking, if you want to start cooking with fresh ingredients and, you know, do things yourself. This is how I can help. And then there's Instagram. Instagram is great to show your face a bit more and really become more personal with your future potential customers. And I like things like the reels are amazing because you show like literally 30 to 60 seconds of your face and you give them something important, something to help them, but help yourself too. And then going live, I think even on Facebook it works, but I found for me, Instagram lives were better. But again, it's really learning your audience and learning when are they online the most, when do they comment, like your post, and then you get all of that on Instagram anyway. You know, you can look at your stats and it shows. So learn about your account, learn about your audience, and then post and do these things at the right time. But this all takes time. It's not always happening overnight. It took definitely a long time for me, but yeah, give that interest and really research your audience and follow what they want, what they like.
I love that. And now that you have sort of figured, I have a bunch of questions, but I'm very interested in this. When you have finally learned what was working for you, the timing, the type of thing to do on Instagram, do you now have have you created your own sort of social media schedule that you're going to do so many reels a week at such a time, or are you a little bit more free with this, or do you find a structured routine a little bit better for yourself?
So that is something that I actually got overwhelmed with because I was kind of forcing myself to post on a regular basis and doing so many reels and so many posts. And I also have two accounts there. I've got my personal Instagram account, and then I've got the Rice is Bliss Instagram account, and then it became two accounts to manage. And, you know, obviously takes a lot of time and you need to be very creative. And sometimes you're just tired and nothing comes up, you know. So now I've taken that stress out of me, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to I post quite a few stories to show that the accounts are live and they are being, you know, posted and things like that. But I also don't force myself to post on a regular basis. I just tell myself when the ideas come, when I feel creative, when I have actually something useful for myself, but also most definitely useful for my audience, that's when I'm going to post. And I also use both my accounts where if it is really something into the spice world or cooking, then I'll post on my Rice is Bliss account. But then I do like to be more real with my audience and really show this is just my normal life, you know, a mom having fun with kids, or a wife going out with her husband and spending some quality time with him, or when I cook, you know, what are the things that I do that I sometimes more than the eating bit, you know, I actually enjoy the cooking. So I want to share little things like this, and then other things that I do in my life as like all the mental health work, self-growth work that I do, and how, you know, writing my book and bits from there, and sharing things that people have told me after they bought my spices in my books or reviews or anything like this. I share it, but these things, I let them come to me on a daily, weekly basis, and I share them as they come. But I think overwhelming yourself with saying I have to post so many times on social media, otherwise my account's not going to grow or people are not going to be interested. There might be some truth behind it, but I don't really want to know because I'm just going to stress about it. What's the point? And I think business like this, I mean, you really have to learn to enjoy it and stress is all around us all the time. So why create yourself more of it, you know?
I love this answer so much. It's huge because this is what happens to all of us. We take these great courses that teach us many things, and they're all valid and beautiful. And then we say, okay, well, we have to sort of be like a factory, you know, and but we created our business most likely from pure joy, inspiration, and the thing. And then now we're trying to box it and put, you know, boundaries and force things. And I love, because again, I have gone through this, and I know many women as well. I love that you allowed yourself to listen to yourself, and then you realize, this is my joy business. Why do I want to not have it create joy? And I definitely agree with you. When inspiration fills you, and especially if you're doing meditation and journaling, it's going to come often for you. And I love this idea. I wholeheartedly believe in it. I think that, you know, maybe there's a little bit of systems and structures that are necessary, but the majority, you know, maybe it's that 80-20 rule. Let it be inspired action, because people will resonate with inspired action. And I love, you know, because I've seen your recent reels and your pictures with your hubby out and your kids in the backyard, and it's adorable. And this is the very important, that relatability. We're just real people, and it's progress, not perfection. And rejection is redirection. So like you said before earlier, like if someone says no to you, okay, thank you, you know, it's a redirection. It's okay. It doesn't have to be so tightly wound and structured and rigid. And we have to always recall why we started this in the first place, and always touch back to that. And if it's starting to feel more like heaviness in you, then that's the time when you need to hit your meditation pillow and start talking to yourself, and you'll get the answers, right? Absolutely. And it happens to all of us. So I love this. And this goes on then to the next question. What empowering routines, what I like to call wealthy woman habits, do you follow each day? Like, what, now this might be structured, or it might also be inspired, but what are some of the wealthy? I know you mentioned journaling and meditating, so I already have an idea of where you're going to go with this, but is there something that you do, rituals every day?
Yes. So meditation is, I'm not pro at it, no one, I think, but I do like to meditate daily. Sometimes I only have time for 5 minutes of meditation, but then that's what it is. But if I can do longer, I try to do longer. Journaling is something that literally changed my life. I like to journal first thing in the morning, most of the time. Sometimes I do it before going to bed. And journaling isn't just about writing the good things. And, you know, I literally write every piece of bad things that's happening in my head, all the negative. And because what helps is that when I do write all these negative things down, I don't talk about it all the time, and I don't, you know, lay it out on other people. And it helps me so much to clear my head. So yeah, journaling, I highly recommend it to anyone. There are other things that I do, like affirmations, mantras, you know, repeating yourself affirmations all the time, especially when you feel low. I try, whatever, if I'm stressed, you know, I try repeating myself things like I'm happy, I'm content, I'm confident, and things. And I actually get my children to do this in front of the mirror every day before bed now. They've got a few, you know, about 10 affirmations written that I've put on the mirror, and every day before bed, my daughter will read it, and then my son repeats it every day, and they actually love it now.
I love this. I mean, this is more important than brushing your teeth before bed, right? I mean, this is such great training. You are setting your children up for how to come into this grown-up world later with a stable foundation of how to really get to know yourself and be in touch with yourself and believe in yourself and rely on your own self if you know don't have always the support system around you. That's fantastic. I love this. Okay, what was one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome when you were first growing your business? Like if there was one big challenge, what was it? And how did you overcome it?
It's all the negative chit chats around you, I think, you know, because no one will ever believe in your business as much as you do. No one will ever. And I had all these dreams and full of passion and, you know, everything that I wanted to create in my head. And people, when you talk to people, you know, they will all come with, yes, but, you know, what if this happens? What if this goes wrong? What if your investment is all wasted and you don't make any money? And what if? And I think that the biggest struggle for me was to kind of ignore that, not in a rude, horrible way. I respect most people's opinion, and that is okay. But I had to come to a point to say that your opinion is none of my business. I've got my dreams, my goals, and I am going to try them, and I might fail. Most probably will fail in certain things, and that's okay. And that's how I'm going to learn and move forward. So even today, for me, I think the biggest struggle is to really get my brain to change and say, no, don't listen to that. Trust in yourself and go ahead and do what you've got to do. Yeah, I say that's definitely the biggest struggle.
Beautiful answer. That is spot on. Perfection. You can't even make that a better answer. It's perfect. I love it. And I think that we kind of already covered this. Do you agree that mindset is more important than systems and strategies? And yeah, I mean, I think I think there was a time when we thought, oh, it has to be all about the systems and strategies and all of the maybe the more masculine side of doing business. And it's so apparent that it's so important to have some of those systems and strategies, of course. However, bringing in our own special feminine gifts, the creativity, inspiration, nurturing, the things that make us unique, really, we have all found a way, and we're still learning, and we're having it being promoted that please get into your feminine side and, you know, pull the two together, but really lean into that. And this was not always the case. You know, we remember back in the day, you know, Melanie Griffin, was it, in Working Girl, and the big shoulder pads and trying to be the man and the whole 9 yards. And there was really a time in life when that was all about that. And I just love this new evolution that women are now experiencing. I think it's one of the greatest times in the world for women business owners. It's as if everything is lined up for our taking to make our dreams come true, not without hard work or joyful work, focused work. I actually don't like the word hard work because I don't believe in that. Passionate work. But I just love this time for us. And so, yes, mindset is huge for women, and it really blesses all of us. And so, yeah.
I think with that, I'll just add something. Is like I mentioned a few times now, I do a lot of work on my mindset and my mental health, but that doesn't mean that, you know, that I'm unshakable, unbreakable, that I'm always, you know, super strong, and I'm nowhere near that at all. That I just want to be real here, because people don't always show that side of you. And I definitely have meltdowns where I completely crash, and I don't want to, you know, don't want to do any of this mental health work, but it's important to push yourself through it. I recently went through a little bit of a meltdown. I had some memories from my childhood come back. I went on a holiday and I got triggered, and then I came back and I felt like my cup was just empty. You know, I didn't have the time to fill it up. I've been helping everyone else, and I came back and I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm in this dark hole. But I think the more mindset work you do, the shorter that time is, because before, when I get into a place like that, it could last weeks, months. But when you do all that mindset work, the best thing is that you are aware of what's triggering you, you are aware of your emotions, and therefore, you know, straight away, okay, I need to do something right now before I go too low. And then you start doing all this work on yourself, and then you pick yourself up and you get on with life again. So keep doing that work. It's so important, because one day you're going to need it and you will know what you need to do. But if you don't, then that's when people go into depression and into
Yes.
really low, sad places.
I love this because you build your own tool chest, you know,
Yeah.
things that, and you don't know it always right away. Sometimes you have to have those, you know, sinking moments, and then your instinct is coming, you know, you're like, this is not right. I need to pull myself out of this, but how? And then you learn the hows, the little things that might make the difference. Buying yourself some flowers, cooking yourself something like comfort food that is, forget about the calories, it doesn't matter, watching reruns of your favorite comedy, something. And then, yeah, if you have those moments again, or maybe what we should say is when, not if, when we have those moments, then you know how to pull yourself out, call your girlfriends, you know, play with your animals or your children, the different things, make a list of those things, and don't feel like you're all alone. I think that's one of the biggest things is, you know, sometimes if someone's having a hard time, they feel like nobody else can relate to that, they're all alone in it. And no, every human has this experience. Children have the experience, male, female, it doesn't matter. And it's very important to allow yourself to have those bad days, but know how to pull yourself out of them. I remember my mom would give me a little fun little thing, and I remember it to this day. If I was having a sad moment or whatever, she's like, okay, you have 10 minutes to feel all the feels, but then you're done, and pick yourself up. And now I'm not saying that you only get your 10 minutes. However, it was a way, it was my anchor out, you know, it would help me pull out of it. So, and I think this is a great thing that you brought up, because mental health awareness is a big deal. Sometimes we underrate our emotions and think, oh, I got this, I don't need any help, I can handle it. And then sometimes it just, you can get lost. You don't want to get lost. So you have to, you know, hear what you just said. So other people, so you're not alone, everyone. You're not alone. Figure out what brings you up, brings you the joy, the simplest pleasures. It could be a piece of dark chocolate. It doesn't matter. It's just little things to change your mood. Allow yourself that, yes, we all have triggers, and be able to recognize those triggers when they do happen, and that it's okay. And different triggers for different people, regardless, but you have control of yourself. You have your own power. There is nothing, nobody can take your power away. Just, you know, step into it, feel your power, and start to pull yourself out of it. And, you know, you're your own best friend, no matter what it is in your life that you're going through, and you can always rely on yourself. So I love that you brought this up. It's very important. And thank you for that. So that's for everybody. There's a way to pull yourself out and up, and then be smiling and going forth with your dreams again. And okay, so that's great. Thank you. Okay, so this one actually is on money blocks, because I am a money mindset coach. And so it's, money blocks are a very interesting subject, and we all have them, and they typically come from our childhood and upbringing and so forth. So the next question is, money blocks are a huge issue for many women, and as a money mindset and business coach, I personally love helping women transform their money story. So I'm just curious, what was your number one money block, and how did you rise above it?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Easy question.
I think money blocks are something that I'm very aware of, actually, that I came across quite recently in my self-growth journey. And I think for me, the biggest thing to overcome money blocks is gratitude.
Oh,
It's
yes.
definitely, I think we are so, we're so good at talking about what we don't have, what we would like to have, and what we lack of. But we don't take enough time to be grateful for the things that we have. I mean, I look around and I'm just like, I've created all of this for myself, a beautiful home, every little thing that I have in my house that I use all the time, this beautiful desk I'm sitting on, the laptop I'm using, you know, all these things. And just looking outside, my window here is beautiful. I see, you know, trees and birds singing, and I love it. Those are things that natural, that doesn't cost me a penny, but that makes me so happy. And you know, things like that come to my head sometimes. Oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do that yet. Or I try always turn them around. That comes again to affirmations as well, turning it to, okay, maybe I can't buy it today. Maybe I choose not to spend that money on that today, but I know that I can find ways to buy it. Money is energy, you know, money just goes around. You give, you get it back. And if you don't give, you don't get it back either. So it goes around. And yeah, for me, I think the biggest tool is to be grateful for what you have, appreciate the things that are around you, appreciate the people that are around you, and feel the gratitude like in your body, in every single part of you. And the more you are grateful for, the more things you will have to be grateful for. So
amen. It's funny because even on my Facebook profile, I have a little emblem. It's all about gratitude. And I absolutely have been living by this. And I forget a long time ago, I remember, if you can't be grateful for what you have, why should you have more then? You know, and basically you have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, this is just really one of the biggest things. And just to touch back, I thought of another thing.
Oh yeah, have you read this? I mean, look at that. I literally go through this book. It's like a Bible for me. And this book, I love Rhonda Byrne. I've read The Secret. That was one of my first books on the law of attraction. And this book has become my Bible. I've done the whole book, and now sometimes when I'm feeling a bit low or have negative thoughts, I just randomly open a page and I do the task of that day, and it brings your vibrations up so much. Oh,
absolutely. Yep, we lost your camera, but you have a beautiful picture. There you go. Absolutely. I have her books too. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're beautiful. So I love that. That's exactly my answer too, is gratitude is always my first thing. So let me just see. So, okay, have you ever had coaching and to help you with your mindset or business growth? And why would you recommend others to hire a coach?
I've had a lot of coaching. I've had not just coaching. I started with literally counseling, psychotherapy, because we all have our traumas to deal with, and I definitely have a lot of them. So I've had a lot of therapy to work on those, and I still do, not as that much on a regular basis, but I still have therapy. And coaching goes, I think, a bit step higher than that once your mental health is in a better place. And I've done coaching for many things, just general life coaching, but also business coaching. And I think we all, I mean, the biggest of all these CEOs and, the people that are in the most amazing place that inspire me have coaches, we all do, because there's always so much for us to learn. There's so much for us to learn from other people's experiences. And also sometimes, like you mentioned before, we get overwhelmed with things. We have so many ideas. We don't know how to prioritize them, what to prioritize, what to do first, what would work, what won't work, what's worth a risk, what's not. And I think with coaching, that's what you get. These coaches really help you to stay on track. And when you say you're going to do something, they help you to actually do that, because we get scared, and I wanted to say no to this interview so many times, but when you get coaching, and when you get people that know how to keep you in line, then that's when you know what to prioritize and what to do. And I find that I think it's coaching. Loads of people say, oh, coaching is expensive, I can't afford it. Again, it's not something that you should never say you can't afford something, because you will always find a way if there's something you need. But I think coaching is an investment. It's the same as investing in your business. You invest in a coach because that coach will literally help you get your business where you want to go. And sometimes it might just be that that's not the right business, you need to find something else. But that's what a coach will do. And also, I think the important thing with a coach is that it's another pair of eyes. When it's your business, when it's your little baby, you only see certain ways, certain things, but the coach sees it from the outside world and will give you another set of eyes, like I said. So I find it very important, and I think it's definitely something that we all should consider.
I absolutely agree with you, and not because just because I'm a coach. I still get coaching. I have always gotten coaching, and I sometimes think about it, you know, when we look at the Olympics or figure skating, they did it with a coach. They're at that level because they're passionate, but even though they had the passion, they didn't do it on their own. They had coaches and that kept them accountable, told them where they couldn't see for themselves what the coaches could see it from an outside perspective. Like you're saying, sometimes when you're so involved in your own business, you can't see it. And to have those extra eyes to clarify, to make the awareness, the accountability. And I think, you know, these businesses, these are passion projects. And sometimes we think, oh, I should be able to handle it all on my own. I'll figure it out. And yes, maybe this is the case, but it might take you longer. It might confuse you more. You might experience more overwhelm. And sometimes you think, like you said, I can't afford a coach. It might be more that you can't afford not to have a coach, because you'll get there quicker, cleaner, clearer. You have to choose, of course, the right coach and everything like that. But to really help you, especially with the accountability, I mean, that's why even gym memberships have personal trainers. Some of us are able to work out 5 times a week and we just show up and get there. And that's great. But some of us need that assistance. We need that help. We need to understand our body type, what exercise is best for us. And we need someone to hold us accountable. I mean, when you think about it, we all went to elementary school. If teachers said, just show up if you're in the mood to learn, if not, it's okay, come when you, I mean, no, we sort of had our teachers and our systems holding us accountable for those reasons, so that we could learn, so that we can graduate, we can go on to other things. And so sometimes I think, yes, it's important to realize it's okay to ask for help. Don't have to do everything on your own. And it doesn't always have to be expensive, you know, even if it's like you said, you have this great book, you know, sometimes it's just a book that can keep you on track. So just important to, you know, realize that there are different forms of help out there to help you grow in whatever aspect of your life, whether it's relationship or physical or business or, you know, being a better parent, whatever it is. It's always nice to learn and implement. And so, yeah, I love that. I love that idea. So let's see. I was just curious, what has been your biggest victory or milestone that you have achieved in your business so far? Would it be the writing of your cookbook? Yeah, it's such a great cookbook. Can you show it one more time again so people can see the title and they can go on Amazon and get this? I love this book. It's beautiful.
So this is Simple Modern Sri Lankan Cooking with Mahesha Rice. And this book, literally, it's basically what my customers asked for. They said, you know, I love your spices, love the quality and everything about it, but I don't always know how to use them, what to do with them. I do share obviously a few recipes here and now on my blog or on social media and things, but it's nice to have something, I think, all in one place where you can open my spices and pick a recipe and, oh, I'm going to make this today. So yeah, I was working full time at the time while my business was running, and I left that job, took 3 months off, and during those 3 months I wrote this book. And I cooked and cooked and cooked because I had to get obviously all the ingredients right and measure them, and you know how much work it takes to put a recipe together. But I took that those 3 months to write everything about the spices, the recipes, pick the recipes, because I wanted to make it a book that was available for also vegans. So there's 15 recipes here that are for vegans. And then this is self-published on Amazon. So it took a lot of work on myself to have the strength to actually publish it. So yeah, every little bit of the journey of creating this book has been a bit stressful too, I'm not gonna lie, but it's my passion, it's my baby. And so when that came out, I think I felt very empowered, because it was just all my ideas and everything I wanted in one place. And that actually, through the book, it really helped me grow my business as well, because people buy the book, then they buy the spices, or they buy the spices and then they want a copy of the book. So they really go together. So
Complements each other. I love this. I am so proud of you and inspired by you. And as will all the women who listen to this beautiful interview. I cannot thank you enough for this really powerful messages that you have given, insight. It's so helpful, really. And I always like to close out the interview with one question. What would you say is something that your audience doesn't know about you? It could be business, personal, whatever. What is one thing that no one is aware of you that you might like to share? Could be something fun and silly and hobbies.
I think I'll just have to be, when I do this kind of, interviews or talk to people about my business, my passion, things that I'm proud of, they think, oh, she's a strong woman. She's, she knows what she wants, and she's very passionate, and she's very strong and brave and all of that. Well, I'm not. I am that too, but I'm also a very sensitive soul, and I have, I cry easily. I have my meltdowns, and I'm very, I'm very sensitive, and I think I don't show that side of me as often as I would actually like to, or that maybe I should. I just want people to know that I'm just like most of you, a very sensitive person that that sometimes loses it all, and but I have built myself to show that I can bring myself up, and that I have a mindset that I keep working on, that I grow. So I'm just a normal person with a normal life, and
I love it. You're just so special. I love everything. I want to thank you so much. And just one last time, what is the website address so people can find out again if they want to go ahead and
so
take
my
a look?
website is ricesbliss.com. So Rice is my surname with an S, bliss.com. You can also find me on social media. My social media tag is Mahisha Rice, simple, my first name and my last name together. And you'll find me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm very open. Drop me an email, a message via social media, and I will reply to you directly and answer your questions. So thank you so much. I've loved this interview and the time spent with you.
Thank you so much. Really, this has just been so beautiful. It will bless so many, and I'm so grateful for the time and the really heartfelt answers. It was so, you could just feel all that passion and wisdom coming from you. So I thank you for being a blessing and just sharing your beautiful journey. And I am definitely looking forward to your continued success, and we will definitely, of course, be touching base. And thank you again for taking the time, and I'm looking forward to having this interview out there so people can really get that all the wisdom, and the fact that you're so relatable, and it will help so many women also to pursue their dreams. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, well, everybody, this has been another amazing interview. Please feel blessed by all of the wisdom that was shared here. Go pursue your dreams. You have got this. You can do this. And I'm just really excited to hear all about your success stories as they're coming together for you. So until we chat again, I wish you a wonderful day, and bye for now. Hello.
Hi, Tamara.
Over. So, Lori, I'm so thankful for you to come on and do an interview with me today and share your success story about your business. So if you could just go ahead and please introduce yourself and share an overview of your business. And also, what is the main website you prefer for people to find out about you when they want to know more?
Sure. So I'm Lori Hartman. I'm a businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been working since I was 10 years old. So I've always had my hands in different pies. I was an entrepreneur even when I was little. And I currently have a management consulting practice, and we specialize in the franchise industry. So brands come to us because they have a great business, they have a concept, they want to expand it, but they don't have the money. And so they use the franchise model. So I've been doing franchising for 40 years now. So that's my area of expertise.
And what would be the website that people should go to when they want to find out more about your business?
It's LoriKarpman.com.
Okay, and how do you
So it's
spell?
always
Would you go ahead and spell that?
LoriKarpman, LoriKarpman.com.
Excellent, excellent. And if you can please share in detail how you feel successful and wealthier because of building your own business.
One of the things about building your own business is that it gives you a tremendous amount of self-confidence, especially when you achieve goals. You feel really great about the fact that, you make your own future. And that's what I love about being an entrepreneur, is that there's just so many opportunities out there. And, you as particularly women, we really have the opportunity to create our futures now.
Which is wonderful because we tend to be creative by nature and nurturing by nature. So it's really a great fit for us to be able to put all of those assets into building a business, and not only learning about ourselves, but being able to make a difference in the world. I think it's very rewarding for many, many women. So
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
The next question is, if you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life, and why would you encourage other women to pursue building their own businesses as a form of self-discovery and especially self-empowerment?
The process of owning your own business, especially as a woman, is a journey of self-empowerment. We are taught to believe as women that we can't have it all. And the truth of the matter is, you can have it all, just in different amounts at different times. When your kids are younger, you spend more time with your family, less time on your business. As your kids get older, your kids need you less, and you get to spend more time on your business. And that's why entrepreneurship is great for women, because it really allows women to create the kind of life that they want, with the schedule that they want and the structure that they want.
Absolutely. It's like the perfect scenario for the freedom that you need at specific points in your life, and that it just flows with your life, and it's not rigid or structured, which is very difficult for women, because there's so many women juggling many different things at the same time. So this is really a great opportunity for women to pursue that. And just curious, have you had coaching to help with your mindset and business growth? And if so, why would you recommend others to hire a coach?
Yes, I've had coaching both personally and professionally. I'm a big believer in it. I mean, I do business coaching, and I even believe that coaches should have coaches. I think having a coach is really important for several reasons. One, for the accountability, which is really the number one reason why people get coaches. And two, because a coach provides a structure for you. So a business coach helps you to expand your business. A life coach works on your mindset. So there's sort of two kinds of coaches, and a lot of times women actually need the mindset coaching more than they need the business coaching, because we're conditioned that everything is limiting for us. And we're not conditioned to believe that we can have anything we want. And that's what mindset coaching leads to. It leads to really an understanding of the fact that, I can do this. I can have any life I want. I'm responsible for building it myself. And when you have that mindset, it's amazing what you can do.
I absolutely. Also, being a money mindset and business coach myself, it's everything to me. 80% is mindset and 20% is the systems and strategies. And when you realize that you don't gloss over these little self-help books and so forth, you start to realize that that's the meat and potatoes of everything, because you have to have your whole mind in place as the foundation for anything to grow, whether it's your business or your relationships or your health. It all comes back to a self-respect, self-empowerment, but these are things that we need help and guidance on because we don't always know how to get there. We know we desire it, but we don't have the tools. And I agree with you. I have coaches. I will always have coaches. I am a coach, but I have coaches, and
Me
I will
too.
never stop that. Yes, it's so important. And it just keeps you invigorated. You know, you're always growing, you're always learning, and it's just one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So
Yeah.
wonderful.
And then the process of the mindset coaching and the business coaching can be very uncomfortable. And that's what you need it to be, because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Amen.
So I tell my
Absolutely.
clients that you have to feel comfortable feeling uncomfortable and just go ahead and do it anyway.
That is one of my favorite things. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I actually have a course that I put together with exactly that title. Pushing those comfort zones is everything. So that's just, yeah, it's agreed. So this kind of touches on what we just talked about, but money blocks are a huge issue for many women. And as a money mindset and business coach myself, I love helping women transform their money story, especially. And what was your number one money block, and how do you rise above it?
Interesting. My money block, we often, end up with the same problems that our parents had. Or reliving what we know. And my parents were horrible money managers. They were just bad. They were bad. If they had money, they spent it all. And if they didn't have money, they didn't have anything to spend, and they didn't know about saving. And it was just bad. And that's, so we lived a life of feast or famine. And that's what I grew up knowing. And that's what I ended up recreating for myself, was a life of feast or famine. And it wasn't until I started doing some coaching around the money mindset that I realized that I'm living my parents' life. And I, realized, oh my God, this is the same model that I saw growing up, and this isn't what I want. And so I got a money coach, exactly what you're saying, so that I could understand, saving and how to save and what to save for and how to do it and all of those things. I needed those tools and structures. I need someone to teach me how to manage money. And that's very common amongst women. And, I'm a successful businesswoman, and I still can't manage my own money.
It's interesting how it travels along the journey of life with us, the things we learned from such an early age, but it's that awareness of it. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect at fixing it, but just the awareness is the biggest benefit. And that is what you get through, reading books or getting coaches or hearing other people's stories and being able to relate to them. And that's, for me, also one of the main reasons I really want to doing this book is because it will showcase all of us having similarities, and then people won't feel so alone, and they'll be like, okay, well, she did it, she overcame it, she created her own successful business, I can do it too. And so thank you for that. That was really great, because it will inspire many women who are also struggling with those things, which are very common among women. So everything you said is absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're taught to be, have your own business, but nobody teaches you how to run one.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. So I just recently, because this is new, I'm releasing a new part of my business, because I realized a lot of the times too, us women that are women entrepreneurs, we do nothing but think about and do our business, and it's all wonderful because we love it. It's really a great experience, but sometimes we can't leave it behind, and we forget to have a little bit of fun and break out of the mold. So I sort of combined, I'm releasing it soon, but it's called the Travel, Dine, and Prosper Society. And basically, yes, there will be business building systems in there. There'll be chances for promotion and the whole 9 yards. So we cover the building parts of the business, but I wanted it to be fun too. And I know one of the main reasons I focus on building my business and achieving money success is I want to travel and I want to eat in fancy restaurants. And I figure I'm not alone in that. So let's have some fun. And so anyway, this club is about that. But specifically travel, I have traveled so many places alone. And it's just really with friends and family. For me, it's been one of the most exceptional ways of finding my own self-reliance, self-empowerment, confidence. And so my question to you is, basically, how has travel expanded your own mindset in relation to your business? And in what ways do you treat yourself like a wealthy woman every day? So like, how is your traveling directly affected your business in a way that you could see, wow, if it wasn't for that traveling, I wouldn't, maybe it's a confidence thing or something. How would
Yeah.
you share
I
that?
I do a fair bit of travel to build my business because I go to trade shows and conventions. So, you know, and I used to have a business in Toronto. I live in Montreal. Toronto is a 5-hour drive. Used to have a business in Toronto that I was in every second week for 4 days. So I did a lot of commuting back and forth. And, you know, the thing about doing all this business travel is that people think it's so exciting. But for those of us who do a lot of it, it's not that exciting because, oh, but you stay in nice hotels. And, you know, that's the one thing when I travel, I stay in nice hotels, I eat well, like I make the travel part of the experience.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
You know, and so those make the trips easier for me because that's one of the ways that I treat myself like a wealthy woman is that I stay in nice hotels, I have nice meals, you know, things like that. But you know, given the choice, I'd rather be home having my own meal, sleeping in my own bed. And I think that's
Yes,
true of a lot of people who travel for business. You know, but if it weren't for the traveling, I wouldn't have the business that I have.
that's
So,
right.
you know,
I guess,
it's through networking that, you know, that's how I build my business is through meeting
right.
people and networking. So
Right. So that is a perfect aspect of like business and travel together. But I think I was more speaking about like your own personal travels, like adventures you've taken just for yourself, not related to business, but how by doing that type of travel, you could see somehow it built your confidence in some way, or you're feeling like you could connect the dots that solo travel trip you took to wherever it made you stronger in some way that has directly helped you build your business.
believe it or not, the travel that really, you know, sort of built me was my first trip to Europe. I was 16 and I went to live with a family in Paris for 6 weeks.
Too. Oh my goodness, I did that.
And that was a fabulous experience. You know, I was there, I was living with a family. They were business associates of my father, so they weren't strangers. And I stayed with them, and it was really interesting because I lived in their home. So it was really like traveling, but not like being a tourist. It was really like being a resident, going to all the local places that only the locals know. And that was really my first trip that I took by myself, that I was tens of thousands of miles away from my parents, and I was 16 years old. And I remember really not liking this family and not liking being with them and thinking to myself, I can't stand this family. I want to go home. But I had the foresight to know that I don't know when I'm going to get this opportunity again to live in France. So I just, you know, sucked it up and finished my experience, which was a wonderful experience. Just, you know, the family wasn't so wonderful in the end.
Yeah, it's true. And that just taught you to sometimes just push through even when it's not exactly perfect for you. Like there's parts of business, we love our businesses, but maybe not every aspect of our business, but you probably recall on those things consciously or not that, okay, you know, you can't always be cherry picking, and we have to, you know, do the things sometimes we don't want to go and grow forward. So that's exactly perfect example of how that relates and builds other parts of your life that you don't even realize that it will.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, how do you create a 5-star reputation for your business? I actually am a reputation strategist, and I help women business owners to build, manage, and market their 5-star reviews. And I know before people buy anything, they need to believe in you, and a good reputation solves this. So how do you, and this is important for new business owners that will be watching this or reading the book, how would you encourage them, and how have you built your reputation, and why does it matter? And do you have any pointers that you can give?
Sure.
On that?
It matters more than anything else. Your reputation is all you have. And my father used to say to me, all you have is your name. And he'd say, and right now it's my name, so don't ruin it. Okay? While he was still alive, he'd say, right now it's still my name, so don't ruin it.
No
And that's-
pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. But that's true. That's all you really have, you know. And I have built my reputation over the past 40 years on honesty and integrity. And people know me, and they know that if you ask me for my opinion, you're going to get a brutally honest opinion. So if you don't want it, don't ask for it. But that's what I'm known for. I'm known for being really upfront with my clients, very transparent. And I built my career on speaking and writing. Now, when you speak and write, you can be the biggest idiot in the world. But if you speak and write, people think you're an expert on the topic. They see your name, they think you're an expert, whether you are or not. That's the perception. So I've built my business over the past 40 years through networking and writing and speaking. And that's how you build up a reputation. For me, that was how I built up my reputation.
Yes, and keeping your word and communicating a lot. Absolutely.
Exactly. You know,
Absolutely.
like say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next part of our interview together is sort of a speed round. So I have 24 questions here. It sounds like a lot, but it's fun and it'll go quick. So it's more like the first thing that comes to your mind, not too in-depth, not too short, but we'll just go ahead and go forward with these questions. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Go, let's go.
Okay. First question. Why did you decide to start your own business? What is your big why?
I decided to start my own business because I have never been a good Indian. I am only a chief. I've never been good. Well, I've been employed for other people. I don't do well as an employee. I need the freedom to be able to think about it and do it in my own way and not be micromanaged. And so for me, I mean, I worked for other businesses. You know, I mean, I wasn't in my own business forever, right? I worked for other companies first. But I wanted the freedom of making my own schedule, being my own boss, working only for the clients that I like, taking on only the projects that I'm interested in. And that was something that being in my own business gave me the freedom to do.
That answer could be my answer. I am a little bit of a rebel. I don't like to be told what to do. That maverick in me comes out. So I love it and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that running through them because we just need that freedom is everything. So
right.
Number 2, what advice would you give to someone just starting their business?
I would tell them that in the entrepreneurial world, business goes up and down. It's very cyclical. And not to worry when you're in the downs because the ups will come. And that was something that took me a long time to learn, that when I wasn't busy, I used to freak out and think my business is over, and then realize that no, it's just a period. I'm going through a period and it will come back. And so now when I'm in the lower periods, I, use it to do other things that I need to do, that I need to get done, or personal things or whatever, but I don't sweat it anymore that I'm in the low period because I know the high ones are coming. And that's what I would tell people is business is cyclical and you have to be comfortable with that.
That's true. I just actually spoke with a relationship coach and she said the same thing. She was so busy around the holidays, because that's when a lot of people are hoping to have that love connection to share with, and Valentine's Day. And now she said it just dropped off because of all that, but she knows it'll go back up again. So it's very interesting. It's across the board. There's definitely something to that. So, okay. Number 3, how do you deal with fear and doubt?
I don't.
Yes.
I don't have fear. Fear, what I do is when I have fear, I face the fear and I do it anyway. There's a lot of things that I've been afraid to do, but I feel the fear and I do it anyway. And I get tremendous empowerment from that. I'm a skydiver, and, the first time I went skydiving, I was like totally afraid. then I just said to myself, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm just going to, I went tandem. So I was strapped to somebody. So I said, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. And it was so amazing and so exhilarating. And when I got down to the ground after, it was like, you feel like you could do absolutely anything.
I love this.
So
Love
I
this
figure if I can
answer.
jump out of a plane, I can do most anything.
Well, it's interesting you say that. And I love I know this book. Is it Melody Beattie that wrote Susan Jeffries wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That book was significant in my life. So I love that saying. It has really served me well. And interesting, because when I was in Europe, I was backpacking through Europe by myself, and I was in southern Germany, and I was riding a bike through the meadows, and it was all fabulous and fun. But all of a sudden I started to feel a little bit like, oh, this is really nice, but I need a little adventure. And I saw all these people tandem jumping over Neuschwanstein Castle, and I thought, first of all, I'm afraid of heights unless I'm in a roller coaster enclosed by a machine. I don't know what came over me. All of a sudden I go and decide, okay, how much is it? And let's do it. And I got a tandem guy. His name was Fritz. He hardly spoke any English. All I could make sense of was, he said, I will count to 3 and you just jump, don't look down. And of course he's, in his broken German, he says, okay, run to the edge. Don't 1, 2, 3. And of course, what did I do? I looked down, and then he kind of shouted at me, and I didn't want to get yelled at. So I just decided to jump. The next thing, we're like flying up and over the Neuschwanstein Castle. And I was giggling and having the most amazing time.
It's a lot of fun.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And like you said, after that experience, on the flight home back to America, I was just looking at building, and not on the flight, but when I got home, I'm like, I want to jump off that building. I want to jump off that. Sure. I just got so excited. I didn't, of course, but I am looking forward to doing that. And I had a picture of my sneakers, so high above. And I placed it on my refrigerator. And I said, if I ever get afraid, I'm going to look at my feet hanging over, all those high in the sky, and remember that I can get over my fear. So this good example, I can relate with you. I did not jump out of a plane yet, though. I have to add that to my list. So, okay. So number 4, what empowering routines, wealthy woman habits, do you focus on each day?
Self-care.
And how does that look for you? What is that?
For me, that looks for me, when I'm finished working, I work at home. But I'm very disciplined. I have an office. I have a beautiful office. I've created a space for myself that I love to be in, but I only work in my office. My computer does not leave my office. If I'm working, it's here. The rest of my house is home. It's not a workspace. So I come in the morning and I open my light and I open my computer. I start my day. I'm here all day. And then at the end of the day, I close my computer, I close my light, and then I'm home. And the first thing I do is I'll just sit for half an hour, either watch the news or mindless TV, but just like, don't talk to me. I just need an hour to sit here. Like, I tell my boyfriend, don't talk to me. I'll be finished in an hour. And then, but if you talk to me now, I'm going to be grumpy and grouchy. So don't talk to me. So that's what that means for me. Yeah. It means taking the time to decompress.
Excellent. Sure. Number 5, what is your big vision for your business? And do you have a timeline for it?
My big vision for my business is actually just to create a business that will scale and travel with me. So I love what I do, and I can do it from anywhere. I'm Canadian. Most of my clients are in the US or in Europe. So I can travel from anywhere. So that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to create the kind of practice that I can, move to, Panama or Costa Rica and just relax and be able to work from there. So that's my
it's absolutely possible. I'm actually living that right now. My husband and I were, he's German, and we were living in California because that's just where I was living when I met him, and my family and friends are there. I'm originally from the East Coast, but then he just got a great job opportunity again for himself back in Germany. And I'm still, and I love it. It's
Right.
beautiful. However, I don't want to completely be fully in Europe. So I'm doing a split. I'm maybe not 6 months,
Right.
months, but about 4 to 5 months I'm in California and doing my thing. And then I'm back here. And, it's a little adjustment because I'm sure, of course, I'd like to share everything with him, but that's just sometimes the way life, it doesn't always go that way. So
Right.
you figure it out. But I love that I can take my business anywhere. So you absolutely, you will do this. And I love the
Yeah.
idea that because you can break it up. You can go to Costa Rica for 3
Absolutely.
months and then go
Yep.
to New York for 3 months and then go to California for 3 months or
Yep.
Spain for another, and absolutely fabulous. Love it. Okay, so number 6, how does your business look different now versus when you first started?
Well, I'm much more successful now than when I first started. I have more clients. I have a team. I have more expertise. I have systems. I have procedures, all of those things that I didn't have then.
In place.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
Let me touch on that
Sarah, I
one.
just want to make sure that we get to finish all 24 questions because I have a hard stop.
Okay, so we'll go speed.
10 past
So I'm
12.
just gonna speed it out for you then. So,
Perfect.
okay, so number 7, how do you set your business apart from others in your industry?
My business is full service. When a brand comes to us, they don't need to hire any other professionals. And I did that because when I was the owner of an operating business, president of a chain of restaurants, I spent more time managing professionals than I did running my business. So when I sold it, I created my firm to be a full service consulting firm that does legals, financials, operations, sales, HR, so that when brands deal with us, they get back on average 5 to 7 hours a week in their schedule because they're no longer managing professionals. We do that for them. So that's really what makes us different is I'm the only one in Canada and US, the only one who does what I do that is completely full service.
I love that. And that's like turnkey operation.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Number 9, what was one of your biggest challenges you had to overcome as you were growing your business?
I got into debt, credit card debt, ultimately had to file for bankruptcy, which I did many, many years ago. And I certainly learned how to manage money after that. So that was my biggest setback was, coming back from a bankruptcy. That was really difficult.
It's hard, but it can make you stronger to go through that and set you up to really put things in place. Like you said, you had, because there's a lot of people there are these things that happen. And sometimes you can't get stuck by the falls. You just have to pick yourself up and go because everything is a learning lesson and everything can help you build yourself. And I love the one saying that says it's happening for me, not to me.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Okay. Number 10, what mindset around money did you have to activate to overcome challenges related to charging your worth?
That I'm worth the money. I had to come into an abundance mindset that, and that I know from doing this, I don't have imposter syndrome anymore. Many women have imposter syndrome. And as you get older, that starts to go away because I'm 60 and I've been doing this for 40 years. And, professionally, maybe not personally, but professionally, I have a tremendous amount of confidence. I know that I'm great at what I do. So I don't really suffer from the imposter syndrome anymore. But that's something that takes years to get over.
It does. And you're right. The age helps because then you just get to a point where you just know yourself and you're good. You're good with that.
Yeah. It started in my 50s. It was like, you know what? This is who I am. Some people will like me. Some people won't. That's okay.
So what? Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Number 11, what qualities do you think every entrepreneur should possess?
You have to be persistent. You have to be persistent because you have to just keep trying and keep working it. And, if you're talking about marketing, I tell people, find one strategy. Just don't be all over the place. Just find one strategy and work that one strategy.
Absolutely. My last interview, she just said the same thing, and I agree. I myself scattered myself too thin at first. You get overwhelmed, then you get down on
Right.
yourself that you're not succeeding enough, and then you lose your ambition and motivation. And so the one book I read was The One Focus. It really helped me. It's like master one thing and then think about going on
Yep.
to the next thing.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
number 12, do you agree that mindset is more important than systems and strategies, and why? And I think we
Yeah,
kind of covered that.
because
Yeah.
you could have all the systems and strategies. If you don't have the right mindset, they're not going to work for you.
It's
You
yeah,
know,
mindset's
mindset has to
foundational.
come first. Yeah.
Absolutely. 13, how did you go from turning your passion and expertise into lucrative client attracting packages?
Like I say, I'm very lucky that I have a particular niche and I have a varied range of expertise that most people don't have. And I just happen to have that because of my career path. So for me, it was more of a question of understanding the services that I'm good at and farming out the services that I'm not good at. So my strategy for building my business has been to sell my strengths and buy my weaknesses.
Oh, can you say that
And-
again? I love that.
Yeah, sell your strengths, buy your weaknesses. And
Beautiful.
it's a brilliant way to run a business because it also shows you that just because you can do something or you're good at doing something still does not mean you're the person who should be doing it. So you have to be able to delegate.
I love everything you said to that answer, to that question is spot on. Number 14, what has been your biggest victory or milestone that you have achieved in your business so far?
Well, I was just named today, as a matter of fact, by Acquisition Magazine. They have the Most Influential Women in Business Award, and I won
Bravo.
the Most Influential Woman in a consultancy job or a consultancy firm. And
I love
so I just won that for 2023 Most Influential Women Business Award. So
Congratulations.
thanks.
Don't
I love
forget
that
to
because I don't apply for that. I don't submit my own. This is something that strictly,
like the
other
People's
people
Choice
vote
Award.
on, like a
Mhm.
People's Choice Award. Yeah.
Don't forget to send me that link. I want to
Sure.
make sure we get that out there. Okay.
Sure.
Congratulations. Big
Thank
deal.
you.
That's awesome. Number 15, what will you never compromise on with your business?
My integrity.
Love it.
If I didn't have the level of integrity that I had, I would be a much wealthier woman, but I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror. And that's my trade-off. I need to look at myself in the mirror and feel good about myself. And so I will never compromise my integrity. I remember working with a company and this client came on to franchise and I said to my partner, I said, this business is horrible. We're never going to be able to sell these franchises. And he's like, well, we'll just do the development work. I said, well, you can't just do the development work and then leave them hanging and not sell the franchises once you're done the work. And he said, well, why not? And I said, because if you don't think their system is going to be successful, then don't take their money and set them up. Tell them, I don't think you're going to be successful, and save them, a couple of $1 million. And he just had a different mentality. He's like, no, we'll just do the work and then pass them on. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm out. And I left.
Good
I'm
for
like,
you.
I can't even work for a firm that has that mentality.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No money is worth that, not liking yourself at the end of the
Correct.
day.
Yeah.
Number 16, who is your biggest business role model that most of us would know who it is that you mentioned? And also, what is your favorite business book?
My role model is somebody that no one would know. My role model is a man named Robert Rach, who was, when I first started my career, I practiced law. So I'm a recovering attorney. I practiced for 34 years.
Mhm.
And the first partner that I worked for really taught me how to generate business. He really taught me about lead generation and how to bring in the business and how to close the business. And I've learned from him, and I've taken what he does, and that's worked for me over the past, 20, 30 years.
Fantastic, fantastic.
And my
do you have a
favorite business book,
Mhm.
it's by David Sandler, and
Okay,
it's called You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar.
interesting
And
title.
it's a fabulous book. It's an easy read. It's what I recommend that to everybody. I've read it many times. It's on the Sandler sales system, and it's meant for people who want to sell and not feel salesy.
Ah, that's great. I will
Yeah.
definitely look into
Yeah,
that.
it's a great book. It's an easy read. He does it through storytelling. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a sales system that I've been using for 20 years, and I swear by it.
Perfect. Okay, and that is something that anybody can get. Is
Oh, yeah,
you go
yeah.
to
You can get it on Amazon.
Amazon
It's on Audible.
Okay, great. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
great
It's
tip
millions of
because
copies have been published.
excellent, excellent. Let's see. Number 17, how do you define success? What does it look like in a day in your life? I think you kind of hinted on that
Yeah.
before anyway, but what does success look like a day in your life?
Success in a day in my life looks like having happy clients.
Mm,
That's what it is for me. When I'm a professional copywriter. It's a little gig I have on the side. I'm a professional copywriter. And I love when I send things to clients and I've written business articles for them or blogs or websites, and they come back and they say, "Oh my God, that's amazing. I could never have written it myself." And I'm like, cool. That's what makes me excited, is that my clients like my work.
I love that answer too, and I can relate to that. It's the best payment in the world is
Yeah.
praise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 18, how would you describe your formula for success?
It is being honest and authentic, realizing that I am not selling a product or a service. I'm providing a solution to a client's problem. That's a huge mind shift,
Yes, it is.
because it takes you away from the feeling that you're selling someone something. I'm not selling someone anybody. They have a problem and I have the solution. This is my solution to your problem. If you like it, great. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But that's really how I see selling is I'm not for everybody. Not everybody's going to want to hire me. But those that speak to me, that get who I am and that I'm authentic, I always close those sales.
I love that. I think of it like selling is serving, basically.
Yeah.
And you have a responsibility. If you can help somebody quickly and successfully, you have an obligation to do that for somebody else if you are a giving person. So selling is serving. So, and I love the way you framed it as well. Wonderful. 19, at what point did you look at your business and consider it a success?
Success for me has come in stages. So my business has been successful at different points in times for different things. So, I'm, like I say, I'm very well known in the franchise industry. They call me the Yoda of franchising. I'm like really well known in it.
Mhm.
So, I think I lost track of the question.
Just at what point did you look at your business and consider it
a success? I considered it a success at different points. So
Okay.
like when I got my first $10,000 client, that was success. And then when I sold my first franchise, I considered that success. And then when I brought on my first assistant, because these are all growing stages. And so
Milestones.
success for me is a journey. It's not just one thing, it's not just,
Absolutely.
it's the journey of having small successes every day.
And knowing that it's worth continuing your business because you're seeing, okay, it's working. Let's keep going. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 20, what would you change about your business journey if you could go back in time? If anything.
I would have, when I got divorced, I would have hired a money coach when I got divorced. That's what I would have done, because like many women, although I was in business and I'd been in business, my ex-husband managed all of our money. So the money would come in, and the bills would come in, and he would take everything to the office, and I never knew how much anything cost. So when I got divorced, it was a big shock to me. And I got my settlement and I went through it pretty quickly because I didn't really understand how hard it was to make it and the value of it. And so that's what I would have done, is I would have gotten a financial coach if I had to go back and do it all again.
I love that answer. It's strong and it's so relatable what you're saying. And I appreciate your honesty. I've gone through it. My mother has gone through it. Her friends have gone through it. My girlfriends have gone through it. I hear stories from other people. It seems shocking to me that we have to be, there's so many beautiful, great men, but there's also this need that we have to put in place to be a little bit more protective and put our boundaries in place and get smart about money and that mindset and confidence. So thank you for being authentic.
Smarter. Yeah, I would have gotten smarter about money a lot sooner.
Yeah, but it's okay. That's part of the journey, and
that's it.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because there's I think a lot of women have a lot of shame around money and mistakes. And when you are so beautiful to share, you're basically saying, you're not alone, sister. I've been there. I got through it. I'm a success now. You're going to be just fine.
Absolutely.
And they can relate to you. And it helps take the stigma off of it. Who said we had to be perfect? Be perfect at something we were never really even taught the tools to be perfect about.
Yeah, no one ever taught me about money.
Ourselves. Exactly. Luckily,
my parents,
my
parents had a horrible mindset about money, and that was all I knew. So that's what I picked up.
Yeah, and they learned it probably from their wonderful, beautiful parents that did the best that they could. Your parents did the best that they could for you, and that's just how it goes. And but it's just, we're living in such a great time right now where there's so much ability for us to finally get educated about this and make some proper choices for ourselves. So I spent a little time on that one because that's big for you, me, all women. And this is the biggest thing, is about women's financial empowerment. Is everything. It's about your choices. It's about your confidence, about your freedoms. It's so important. So thank you for letting me get on my soapbox on that one. But your answer,
no worries.
Beautiful. Okay, 21. What is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur?
The hardest part about being an entrepreneur is feeling like you're alone. And that's why I've joined networking groups, mastermind groups, speak to people like yourself, because I know I'm not alone. I know there's a lot of people out there who are in the same situation, dealing with the same challenges. And, through the networking groups, that's what you pick up, and you hear what other people are doing and how other people are handling the problem, and it gives you ideas. So for me, it's all about speaking to other people.
I love that too. And just to elaborate on that a little bit, as great as our family and friends are, they don't always get what we're doing, and they're not our audience. And we sometimes learn the hard way. We get excited, we want to share with them, and then there's no maybe enthusiasm or possibly even a criticism. And it just brings us so down. And we all have to realize, and I'm speaking to the brand new business women owners that will see this video, please find the right audience, and they will build you up and give you wings and give you advice and help you soar. You're lucky if your parents and friends and partners and such can get it and they're your real biggest cheerleader, but don't count on it and don't make them wrong for it. You're just in a different zone and they don't necessarily get it. That doesn't mean they're right and it doesn't mean you're wrong, but find the right network, as Lori just mentioned, and support yourself with people that can support you and build you up and not make you feel alone, because there are going to be days when you want to throw in the towel, and that's when you call your business bestie and you get on the phone and you get your mindset fixed. So another good point. And then on the opposite, then, what is your favorite part of being an entrepreneur?
That I create my own destiny. I work when I want to work. I take on the clients that I want to take on. I don't do things that don't interest me. I don't work with people I don't like. And that's, to me, that's about having control over your own life.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Choices, freedom. Number 23, what is your number one professional tip for women to grow their businesses?
my number one tip for women is that you can have it all. Because they tell women you can't have it all. You can have it all, just in different proportions at different times in your life. So I've had my business, and my kids are 27 and 30. So I've had my business now for 25 years. And that's what they grew up seeing. They grew up seeing a mom entrepreneur, they grew up in a house with 2 working parents. So that was the model that they got to see.
Love
And
that.
yeah,
And it strengthens them seeing what's possible because
Yeah.
you're a great role model for them.
yeah. And like, I look
And
at my
then-
daughter and I look at my son, and they don't. Sorry, I look at my son and daughter, and they live in a different world, and where they don't see male, female, black, white, trans. They don't see that. They just see people. And I think that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Let's see hearts, not forms, right? Exactly. And finally, the last question, number 24, what is something your audience does not know about you?
My audience doesn't know that I'm a crafter. So
Do tell.
I paint, I do dishes, I do ceramics, I make jewelry, I knit. I don't sew, I suck at sewing. But I do needlepoint. So that's, those
I
are my
love it.
hobbies, is that I'm a total crafter. Is that, people think, oh, you're a lawyer, you can't be creative. And it's like, they're non-mutually exclusive. It's like, I have to explain to people, being a lawyer is what I do. It's not who I am. There's a big difference between
Exactly.
what I do and who I am, right?
Exactly.
That's
I
what
love that.
Yeah.
Well, Lori, this has been an amazing interview. I'm so thankful to you for sharing so beautifully, authentically, with such wisdom. You are going to really inspire and help women business owners that are just starting or in the middle or at the higher part of their journey. Everything that you said was just spot on and beautiful. And I just thank you so much for your time today. And if
It's
you
my
can just
pleasure.
one more time, thank you. And let us know again how people can find you. What's the best, what's the
They
website
can
link?
find me on LinkedIn under
Okay.
Lori Cartman.
Okay.
Or they can go to my website, which is loricartman.com. So, and then they
Okay.
can, on my website, they can schedule time with me. If they'd like to schedule consultation with me, it's perfectly free. So I would love to speak to anyone who thinks that I could be of help.
I think that your phone will be ringing, as it probably already is. So thank you again for taking this time with me. I appreciate it. And I look forward, maybe we can check back in a year from now or so, or a little bit later, and do another follow-up and get some more words of wisdom if you're wanting to
Totally.
kind of get in front of my audience again. So
Yeah,
thank you
totally up
again.
to it anytime.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to introduce you to my very special guest expert, Jordana. She has an amazing story, and I am going to just let her tell you it right now, and then we'll get into some exciting questions that she'll share her vision about. And let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Jordana. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. I just wanted to ask you, I am so impressed. We had an initial meeting, and your vision and your work literally brought me to tears, because it's just so important what you're doing. So if you can sort of share with my audience, what are you doing? What is basically, introduce yourself, share an overview of your business, especially why you wanted to start this business, and also what is your big vision for the future of your business?
Well, the Recovery Mobile Clinic was started because, as a nurse practitioner, what we started seeing was a real lack of consistency in the healthcare field because of transportation barriers. So we would say we lose around 30% of our patients to follow-up because they didn't have reliable transportation. So as someone who's lucky enough to have a husband in the RV sales business, we started really looking at the mobile model how can we apply mobile healthcare to addiction medicine particularly, and bring needed primary care access to people who need it the most. So what we started doing back in 2020 was we put this wonderful clinic that you see behind me together and took it on the road.
Stunning.
So what we do is we partner with homeless shelters, transitional houses, churches, community centers, and try to engage people in the community, bring them back into kind of the healthcare model, offer them addiction medicine services and community resources, and then try to help them transition into kind of a more traditional healthcare model with more advanced services. Now, we started our clinic in February of 2020.
Yes.
So
The
we all
month
know
that
what
everything was
happened
calm.
right
the
after
storm
that.
hit.
Exactly. But what we found, and this is very universal in the world of addiction medicine, is that there's a huge fear, there's a huge stigma in the healthcare profession as well as in the community when we start engaging people to work with individuals who suffer from substance use disorder. That fear really shut down the availability of a mobile addiction clinic. I joke that they kind of saw me as the Pied Piper, if I show up, I bring a problem. And that was a big limiting factor. When COVID hit, what we were able to do is offer a very needed service immediately, COVID testing, namely at the beginning, which enabled people to get back into the shelters. We're in Michigan, so March in Michigan is still cold, and
Yes.
the shelters just shut down. People were out on the streets. We needed to get a roof over their head. That was step one. And so if a COVID test was able to clear them and get them into a safe, warm place, that was important, right? And then it was getting people into doctors' offices, getting them into treatment facilities, into their counselors, because all of a sudden they lost all of their coping mechanisms. And that wasn't just unique to the homeless population or to the addiction population. Everybody did. So what we were able to do at that time is prove that we weren't the Pied Piper, that we were able to kind of engage the population with a needed service right away. And then they saw that we weren't a problem, that we were a solution. The fear aspect started going down, and then the municipality and the participation in the program grew exponentially.
And the lives that have been saved because of your vision and your ability to make things happen and happen quickly. When we first talked, I mean, you were just on it, and you were really, nothing was going to get in your way. Your vision was big, and that vision started as one thing, and now it has grown, and you have even more vision. So can you talk about a little bit of where you are hoping to bring this in the future?
So the Recovery Mobile Clinic started as one clinic, actually the one we're in. We now have two, and we're working on our third. So we are growing really quick. The big vision for this, though, is not to just stay in Michigan. What we want to do is not only engage other practitioners, like nurse practitioners or PAs or doctors like myself, to learn how to engage a population that's traditionally difficult to work with. And like I said, the stigma creates barriers and fear. So we're really trying to train individuals on the art of therapeutic communication, on the importance of meeting people where they're at, not expecting them to come and meet you where you're at. And when you're dealing with a population that doesn't trust the healthcare system necessarily, that's more important than ever, because they have to know that you're in their corner, and so many people are not.
And that there's someone there that wants to help.
I'm sorry.
That there is someone there to help them. They need to know that, and you are letting them know that, and that is making this thing successful as well.
Right. The sad part about this population is I actually had a gentleman describe himself. Now, me or you would never say this about ourselves. We describe ourselves as mothers or entrepreneurs or nurses or, whatever it is, but he describes himself as a throwaway person.
Oh, see, this is the
I
stuff.
mean, if you can think about that for a minute,
No, it's just
you
a
know,
shame to think
you-
people feel that way.
how low you have had to get to consider yourself not valuable. And that's
And
what we're
all it
treating.
Yes, and all it takes is someone like you to let them know how valuable they are and start to get some of that attention that they are worthy, so worthy of receiving, and it can change and alter their life forever, their families that they are a part of, or the friends, the groups. It just grows and grows. And it's just really what you're doing is such a sort of pay it forward sort of mission. And I'm just so inspired by it because you are so correct. We're very comfortable with our for the most part, our lives, ourselves, our worth. You know, we work on silly things, but this is life-threatening things that you are helping people to survive. And I also wanted to touch on this. This is for those that are already in the health industry, specifically nurses that are working within an organization. And there you have a program that you are starting to introduce to nurses that may also want to branch out a little bit more on their own. Can you kind of share a little bit about that as well?
Yep. So in addition to what we do, we're also offering a lot of training. So we work with a lot of universities in Michigan to try to bring people into kind of the idea of working with addiction medicine and that whole community health part of it. But the other end of this is to try to replicate the Recovery Mobile Clinic on a national level. What we're trying to do is engage nurse practitioners, particularly just because I am one, so
Yeah.
I identify with them. But nurses are finding themselves in a position now where what's happening in our world is what we call full practice authority. Nurses able to open their own clinics, and a lot of nurses are like, "Great, what do I do with that?"
Yes.
I
How
don't
do I
know how
go
to do
forward?
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is create a blueprint so that a nurse in Albuquerque, New Mexico can pick up the manual and do what we're doing. So what we're really focusing on is creating large national partners so that that nurse has a connection already. Now we're halfway there. We've got partners with Salvation Army, with Department of Corrections. We're working on the VA. And once I kind of get a couple more of these large national partners, and any nurse in, you know, rural California can also open up, start an RV, and then we can network with those national partners in her area, and then she has somewhere to go. She has a start off spot, right? And then you can work on your smaller partners as you go. So it's really teaching and empowering healthcare to change. The world is changing, healthcare is changing, and we have to be able to alter our thought of what medicine looks like and what engaging in the community looks like. And we can't expect them to just follow the healthcare established routine anymore.
Yes.
This has to look different.
Absolutely. Change is good, especially when it's, really thoroughly understood how it's been, what does work still, and what needs fixing. And then here you have you who is spearheading things and making, just her own path, and then helping to have other people follow along. I mean, it's just really amazing. And this is so, like you said, this just started in February of 2020, and all that you have already started is amazing. And so what I most want to have you share, because it's a little bit different than the other business owners that I typically interview with different types of business. You rely very much on fundraisers and donations. And I know that there are so many women here and people in general that are truly inspired by what you're doing and want to be able to contribute and be a part of that. So can you share where someone can go? Like, what is your main link where people can find you, and And also, can you tell about the donational parts that they can contribute to?
Yep, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. Now, what that means is all of our donations go into a fund that we call the Patient Recovery Fund. What that does is enables us to provide care for patients who are underinsured or like really high copays. Some of these Affordable Care Act plans, they have to
Mhm.
make like $10,000 in copays before any, before any medications or anything like that are covered. So they need assistance. So even though they have insurance, they're stuck, or don't have insurance at all. What we don't want to do is create more barriers, because it just precipitates that addiction cycle. So the Patient Recovery Fund takes 100% of donations and puts it right into the Patient Recovery Fund. So donations go directly to patient care, unless they're otherwise earmarked. I mean, if someone gives me donations and says, I run a gas company, I want you to put gas in the RVs. Great. Thank you so
Yes.
much. But
Yes.
other than that, other than direct donations that way, everything goes directly to patient care. There's
I
a
love it.
there's a couple ways to donate. We have a direct link right on our website. We go
Mhm.
through Classy. So you can go right to www.recoverymobileclinic.com, and we accept monetary donations that way. Like I already mentioned, if you had a service or something that you thought might be good. I mean, we run clinics out of trucks, right? So, and we also go to a lot of shelters and high need areas. So sometimes donations aren't in the way of monetary donations directly. I get people that will give me socks, and I
Yes,
can give those
everything
out to the
helps.
homeless population that I see. And that helps the people obviously with socks, but it also, it gives us a way to kind of pull them in, get them talking. They come in to get a pair of socks and we start talking about some of the other things that we may help with them. So it does help the clinic even to have some of those type of donated items that way.
Excellent. So please, people, donate. This is such a worthy mission that Jordana has started, and has a big vision to help people, to spread the word, to share it with other nurses so that it can branch out nationwide at some point, and it all will really have success through donations. So go ahead to that link that she mentioned, and you can learn more about her work and so forth. And thank you for this. And now we're going to get into some fun, kind of like speed round questions about your business. And I will just go ahead and ask you some questions, and we will just see what some of the answers are that come out, because we're definitely trying to inspire all women business owners, whatever type of work they're doing. And I know that there are certain characteristics that most have, and it's always nice to be inspired by others who have already started and are on their journey to success. So let me put on my readers and here we go. So, okay. So if you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life, and why would you encourage other women to pursue building their own businesses as a form of self-discovery and self-empowerment?
You're never fully aware of what you're capable of until you go all in. And I say that as I'm laughing, because there was so many things that I never thought would happen. So many instances, so many people you meet, so many, obstacles you get over, and you just keep going, and you won't get there unless you go all in. This has to be 150% commitment, but when you make it, yes, I mean, there's tough points. But when you get over those, you learn so much. And then next time you see it coming, so there's,
if you're wise enough to pay attention, right?
there's a huge amount of learning curve, but
Yeah,
like I said, you will surprise yourself, because when
yes.
you go all in, you really discover what you are truly made of. And when you work with somebody else, it's not there because it's not yours.
It's not your
You're
baby.
not
Yeah.
50% committed. So you
Exactly.
will learn a lot about yourself going through this.
Character
good and bad.
building 101, right? Absolutely. I think it's the best education. Traveling and starting your own business to me are absolutely the best education that you can
Mhm.
probably get.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How does your business look different now versus when you first started it? We kind of covered that. So if you just want to give a little
You know,
overview on that.
now we're growing, we're larger. We just won our first grant. We
Yay.
have our units in a building 100% because they were in my driveway for a couple of years. I have a
Wow.
lot of very nice, understanding neighbors.
Neighbors.
So, you know,
I love it.
there's a